Hello everybody and welcome back to another video. Today we're going to be doing a little segment I want to call Old Faces, New Places. There's been a lot of roster changes going on right now on the CS scene, and I just wanted to, sit down and chat about them. A couple of them, we got a couple big ones like Astralis finally finding their fifth, signing Buzz, the young Danish rifler. He played for Masonic, and statistically, he doesn't really jump out off the page. He's not really anything special, but it's just, maybe he can fit the role that Astralis really need him to fill, but I'm just not sure there's enough firepower on this team. You can't have three players who are generally a net negative, even if your two star players are, top 5 potential. And so I just don't know how I feel about it. If they wanted some young Danish rifler, maybe they just stick with one of their Astralis talent players. Like, Mister was doing his thing on the roster, so I don't understand why they would not just continue to play him. And then another big one is Navi officially signing Nipple to a deal and no longer using SDY as a stand-in. I think that one is going to be really... I feel like that move is going to keep them somewhat linear. Like, I don't think that's not what they needed. I've preached and preached on what Navi needs, and it's not just another young player who's going to come in and be scared to talk to Simple and Electronic. They need another voice in the team. But maybe after the player break, after the holidays, they can sort of try to get things in order. I have faith in the roster. There's too much talent not to figure something out. But after that one, we've got NIP finally getting their Opper, signing Head Trick. I love this move. They benched Esatag, who had been, he was kind of always the odd man out on that team. And so it's good to see NIP finally taking a risk and moving in the right direction. It's kind of interesting that they're taking the international sort of approach, but I think it'll be good for them in the long term. They picked up Alexi B. They started speaking English anyways. The only thing I'm worried about is Brolin. He didn't want to be on Fnatic because he wanted to go back to a Swedish team. And, just a couple months after NIP picks him up, they start, they add Alexi B, start speaking English. Now they're adding another, non-Swedish speaker. And so it can just be, it can be scary for them. And then next up, we've got something I actually forgot to mention for Astralis was they signed Hunden, the ex-player and ex-coach, as an analyst. And now I'm not exactly sure how much good that can do them, just because, like, how much can an analyst really do? But his mind for the game and, his strategical thinking, in theory, should help bring Astralis to, where they were. And then we have got Outsiders replacing Norbert, which, he was their weakest performer at the major, but they had just won the major. It doesn't seem like they need to be making roster moves like that. And Kyron from Aurora, he's a good player, but Norbert was a good player at the major. Like, he proved himself already. I'm not sure what they're trying to accomplish. Maybe just taking a risk on a young player, hoping it pans out. It's been panning out a lot with these top teams like Bit and Monacy. Maybe even Head Trick with NIP, Wonderful and Spirit. A lot of these young risky moves are starting to pan out. And we have another roster move we've got is Cloud9 benching Inters, and they're now set to sign Buster. Now, I don't know how I feel about that. Buster has been benched for quite some time now, and has yet to play anywhere. And I was always a big fan of his before. I wanted him on Na'Vi for a long time. And I think that he can do good things with Cloud9, but I don't think Inters was the problem. I feel like they had problems other than just one player, if that makes sense. That team was too talented and too sound to be losing to Mouse in the quarterfinals of a major, or losing to Liquid in the quarterfinals of Pro League. There's something deeper they got to figure out that I don't think kicking Inters is going to solve. Now it's possible, a lot of teams have honeymoon phases, and if Cloud9 can sort of get out of their slump with Buster and remind themselves who they are, maybe that can prolong into something more serious. But it just seems a little unfair to Inters. He wasn't the problem. It kind of reminds me of the Na'Vi situation. Like, I like the idea of them bringing in Nipple, but I don't think SDY was the problem. Now, I won't lie. There were a lot of situations where he would just be caught out on T side, or or he had a nade out on T side, or he was just caught out of position on CT side, or he wasn't completely with the team. But he also had moments where he would just pop off and get a 3K holding a site, or a 1v4 out of nowhere, and you can see the talent that he has, and it doesn't seem like his talent is the problem. And I'm worried with Nipple they can run into a lot of the same problems, because Bit is really young too, but Bit has had that mechanical, decisive aim you could see from day one. Nipple doesn't have those defining traits. He's just young. Now maybe the hope is they can develop him into the perfect role player, but I think they need a Boomich, a Hobbit, someone of that type of. I understand them not wanting Boomich with all the controversies, and I'm not saying they should re-sign him, but they need someone of that caliber, a leader, a voice, and someone who's a grunt, who's also not afraid to do the dirty work. All of these players, Perfecto, Bit, Electronic, they're too good to be, you have to do the dirty work. Run up banana and get us a pick, or do some damage and let us know where they are. They're too talented for that. You want them to kind of play slower and be able to, showcase their aim in their long-range gunfights and in the clutches and whatnot. And there's just, I just want Na'Vi to go outside of their comfort zone. Imagine if they had picked up, Yakindar when he was a free agent. The Boomich controversies were going around the same time as he joined Team Liquid, so I think there was a possibility there for them to swoop in. And I'm sure Yakindar would have loved to play with a Russian-speaking team. And another roster move I kind of want to touch base on is Evil Genius is kicking Cirque, with Woxic and Montu recently announcing their free agencies. It kind of opens up some possibilities of what they can do. Cirque was European, so if they pick up another European player, it won't mess with them having to play in the NA RMRs or anything like that. So maybe take a risk on a Woxic or a Montu, or I'd love to see them promote Viz from the EG White team I think he's on. He's been killing it in MDL, and he plays the op role, and I don't know, I think I'd love to see them take a chance on him. It's not like they're contenders anyways, it's not the same as Na'Vi. They have the skill set to kind of, it's like a tanking team in sports. One of the worst teams. You got you got time to, mess with stuff and see what works and what doesn't. You're not trying to win a championship tomorrow. You got time to develop. And I think that is about it. I touched on every major roster move so far. I'm not a fan of the Astralis one. Them signing Hunden is cool, I guess. The Outsiders one, I'm not really a fan of. The Navi one, I'm hesitant of. I like the idea of it, but I'm hesitant of it. The NIP one I love. They've been missing an op presence for ever since Device left. And then before Device came, they were missing an op talent for, ever since Alu or Draken left, whichever one you want to consider an op talent. And it's just, it's good to see NIP making a change like that, a shot in the dark. C9 signing Buster, I don't know. A lot of these, I feel like they're just doing roster moves just to try to change something up. Like, it doesn't actually help anything, But I guess we'll just have to see. The groups were just released for Blast Premier Spring, so I'm going to be doing a video covering that, doing a little preview of the group stage. I can do another one of the playoffs once we get there. And that is about it. That's all I have. Thank you guys for watching the video. If you made it this far, I know you enjoyed it, so make sure to drop a like, subscribe if you're new, all that. Comment down in the comments below. It'll help me out a ton. Thank you guys so much, and I will see you in the next one. Thank you.